Hello, this is Otan Dora from Nerdimations. Don't mind the door part. And today, I'm going to continue the Uncolonized series. Ah, yes, who doesn't love it? Okay, now, my first thing to check is currently how my YouTube channel is doing. And I'm checking this off screen, by the way. And currently, no one has even watched my first video. You, my friend, have come from after the posting of the first video. And so I still have no requests. So I'm going to continue just making up something myself. But if you watch this, please put in your ideas. I need them. I need something good to put in. Anyways, we stopped off with the Ashanti and the Sokoto struggling to try and take down the British. I know, it's quite a hard thing all of us have to do. The Ashanti began their invasion, hoping to quickly take out the British military in a new offensive. But the British just continued doing their British stuff of keeping them at bay. Pushing back, and so the Ashanti realized that this wasn't really turning out well. The Sokoto realized that occupying Lagos was apparently not enough. So they went straight to the Adam. So they went straight for the Adamawa Emirate around here. The Adamawa quickly surrendered because they don't want to die. And so they accepted vassal treaty into the Sokoto. There was barely a change in these two nations' relationships, since the Sokoto were craving more blood. Cain and Bornu, the sheikdom, realized that the Sokoto were coming, and if they didn't make an alliance with other countries, they would be thoroughly screwed. And so, they did one of the most embarrassing tactics. They sucked up to the Senussi order, thinking, yeah, the Senussi army that is commonly used to fighting in a desert will totally be useful in the jungles of Nigeria to defend against the Sokoto army, and the most powerful kingdom in Africa. You can guess how that went. Cain and Bornu, it was totally destroyed, wrecked. They tried to hold on with their dumb aws, thinking still they could win until they surrendered after losing in Canaan. The Sokoto decided to bargain a slightly nice deal where a lot of territory still was ceded into the Sokoto. This territory was just life-saving for Cain and Bornu, as that meant that at least they still can build back from this and find allies. The Sokoto now had the job of holding two different areas, as they had no experience in owning major kind of industrial cities and grasslands. To say that at first they did terrible is an understatement, especially since they now have to manage an even larger collection of in a smaller state with a big one. But the Sakudo held firm, and so they continued trying their best not to ever just got tripped over and totally wrecked. Seems to not be happening yet. Meanwhile, we finally get to turn to somewhere besides West Africa. East Africa. You see, in my original plan for these videos was that there would be a major war in Southern Africa. But I've decided to save this for later, here, that's a foreshadowing. That what will definitely happen is one of the greatest wars in history. The war between the Luba Kingdom and the Kuba Kingdom. The insane hatred and animosity between these two nations is based entirely off of a subreddit post on the original map. The Luba and Kubas had been tensioning up, with the Uba wanting this, with the Kuba wanting in the northern Luba territories. It was clear that they were prepping up for something worse. It could be the total destruction of the old order in Central Africa, as there stands a lot of kingdoms in this area. These are some of the most powerful and some pretty functional states, except Tipu Tip or the Tippy Tip. Do not get any ideas. But they're literally just a collection of slave trading cities. So they're not even existing for a good reason, and they just have committing a human rights violation as their only job of existing. Anyway, the Luba and Kuba kingdoms knew that this war would be hard to win, and as the two were of about equal stature, or when it came to power. And so the Kuba kingdom reached out to none other than the Luanda Confederation. Basically, they said, "Hey, yo, do you want to fight the Juba kingdoms and win?" Now, the Kuba kingdom knew that there would be no way they could win, and so they called up another nation, the Yeke kingdom, to their south, not the Troke kingdom. Soon after, they also asked the Tipu Tip, but the Tipu Tip apparently was on a major slave hunt against Burundi and Rwanda, so no go there. Finally, there was the Congo. But the Kuba kingdom had already made an alliance with them. And besides that, also, currently the Congo were half busy bullying Luongo, this country, into becoming their puppet. Which, after a literal flipping forever of convincing, no, they literally spent forever trying to just get them to just surrender. They still did not do it. Okay. It was 8. It was pretty sad to see. And when the plan was simple: make as many puppets as possible. Then and the small kingdom of Luongo simply revolted again. Quite annoying, and so they had to revert to better strategies. War. Yes. The to best way to coerce other countries into doing what you want them to. And it was not even fair. Heck, even more, or or they had to eat even more stuff up, up in the new treaty, basically saying that we don't have rights anymore. Or sad. This is just sad treatment. They they fell to the Congo, and the Luongo were forced to concede. Finally, the Congo were able to put their attention back to the Cuba, but not after going for Kakongo and Nagoya. Gotta make sure everything is covered. Then, but we're uh, we're going to leave the tensioning up between the Luba and the Cuba off for now. Even though their hate and animosity already radiates across the region. And to tell a final tale. Morocco finally decided that its semi-independent Berber tribes weren't as good as them. And so they went straight to invade, taking small bites, hoping to win everything and quickly, even though it turned into a 5-month campaign that nearly brought France along into colonizing them. Morocco, though, was still able to do it. Mostly. They were many different small tribes, and other things just simply refused joining Morocco, even though Morocco #1 gave them less tax, acts almost purely as a way to say, please just join us. And also Morocco threatened to basically wipe them off the face of the earth. Some of the worst ways you is to coerce people, even worse than what the Congo did. And anyways, once Morocco finished their conquest of the majority of territories that were currently swore allegiance to Morocco, and now had fully incorporated them into their country. Morocco went straight for industrialization, knowing that their close call with being forced to eat frogs and a baguette might come back to haunt them and bite them in the ass if they don't do anything about it. So they began building a modern military and also made a national currency and began building their nation into a constitutional monarchy, while also building the first few factories in places like Fes and Rabat. They also made an alliance with Tunis, and basically said, "Hey, if you want, we'll help you be free." And so that's exactly what they did. The Tunis went into full-on revolt where they destroyed the Ottomans. The Ottoman soldiers fled into the Senussi order, or where they were literally only given, where the Senussi made sure to only give them Silencia. Yeah, because well, hey, it's even just as big. It's fine. So, and Tunis quickly crushed whatever Ottoman resistance tried to stand up to them. The two nations had two goals: to industrialize and become rich, and number two, to make sure that France never destroys them, and also maybe to possibly make Algeria. Gotta make sure we have the complete set. But now let's get back to the Ashanti and British stuff. In late 1881, finally the Ashanti stopped their war with Britain, because they didn't really care anymore. It took too much to fight a major industrial power. And anyways, they needed to go back to the evil tactic of going to their nearby neighbors and raiding them for slaves. They're still doing that. This let the British turn their attention to Lagos, but the Sekoto had done the right thing and fortified the city, probably because they had spent the first half of 1881 making sure nobody was going to backstab them, and so they didn't need extra soldiers. The battle was pretty quick, and the British were forced to just give up trying to take the city. This now left the Sekoto with a bit of a job to do. They need to clear out all these little small states so that their territorial rule is solidified. These soldiers were now stranded in Lagos, and so they could, and there was no way of supplying them except fighting the small kingdoms of the area, which is sad. When they realized that they were definitely going to get attacked, all of them under the leading of mainly the Borgu kingdoms and the kingdom of Benin, and went to war against the Sekoto first. Some of the smaller kingdoms fell fast, and barely were even able to make it. But on March the 14th of 1882, to the forces were able to finally capitulate the Benin Kingdom, taking the entire thing. The Borgu states surrendered out of straight up realizing they might be cooked, and any other kingdoms that still survived, he all surrendered, and the treaty was devastating, eating for all of these small states. First, the Borgu kingdoms. They would all not only not be forced into being some shoddy, weak puppets of the Sekoto. No, they were formerly annexed, even though there'd be duchies for all of them and to rule over, so they didn't get too pissed. And said, get all the people to go back to revolting and fighting the Sekoto. The kingdoms were slightly modified from the original Borgu kingdoms, but the Sekoto didn't really care. The same fate was spelled to most of the small, all African kingdoms. They were all given separate treaties, which all stated that they were being added into the Sekoto, except At these, except only two places, Ijebu and Benin. Ijebu had coincidentally been the same city that same, same small state that had been invaded by the Sokoto the first time to allow them through to allow them to allow them in. And so it to them it kind of just made sense. Why not? It's kind of just an honor or be for letting us in the first time, even though we did destroy you the second. Anyways, it was the reason they didn't kill Benin was simply just there was no reason for not kill Benin. They could have gone for Benin, and if they wanted to, they just didn't go. Were they scared of invading Benin again? No, I'm pretty sure they just saw and all the bureaucratic stuff of ruling in this area. Yeah, too hard. Even though some of these small kingdoms were though forced. Most of these small kingdoms though were forced to unite into significantly bigger states that could be accepted. Also, the Sokoto finally stopped stalling on the Canaan born on resolving the Canaan Bornu problem. All these all Sokoto states there quickly we were able to grab a large portion of territory, with the rest being given to no one. And also, something just ridiculously comical. Kano, got this piece of territory, even though they definitely did not need it, and could have totally gone without it the entire time. Apparently, they just didn't. They just at this point didn't care any. Sokoto didn't care anymore, or instead, y'all draw the borders yourselves. That's how these small duchies, suddenly doubled or even tripled in size. Because they were able to hog so much of the new stuff. The Sokoto now are clearly showing as a giant. They've been inherited in a British city and might be able to actually turn it into something, even though it's now currently their puppet, not actually their territory. But there's finally one more thing to cover in this video. The French tried to take the small kingdom of Sakalava, but Marina, at this point, and due to recent piracy, their worst rival, were to help them to totally destroy the French. One of the first times an African kingdom had defeated a European state in naval warfare. Anyways, here is the new map of Africa. And if you weren't paying attention the entire time, here's what's happened. The Luba and Kuba kingdoms hate each other with increased animosity and hate. What did I just say? The Congo are getting busy to subjugating their neighbors. Marina and Sakalava pulled some trickery on France. And the Ashanti decided that they're getting sick of fighting industrialized powers. The Sokoto decided instead that they'll just fight everyone. And the Canaan Bornu, who played the stupidest moves ever known to get almost half of their territory taken. And now there's some grubby pact. of two countries. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, thank you. If you want, and if you want, please, you can put your suggestions in the comments and for what should happen in part 3. It's now April of 1882, and bye. Don't forget to subscribe.